Hello and welcome to Season 5, Episode 6 of the Sajin Photography Podcast. My name is, of course, Jason Teale, and I am recapping today the events of the photo exhibition that I had planned and was supported by the city for my photography class. Now, if you've been living under a rock or just simply didn't see the million posts I did about this exhibition, last week from December 12th to the 17th, I put together a photo exhibition for my students and for a few photos of myself as well. Well, not of myself, that would be creepy and weird, but a few of my photos were there. And this is an experience that I've done over the years, but haven't done in probably, I would say close to a decade. And it is really a process. So my advice before I get into anything is that if your friends are having a photo exhibition like this, don't just wander around drinking hot chocolate. Please get out there and really show them your support, because it is a lot of effort. Even if it's just like a day or two, get out there and go and see their photos. Just make your face known, because it is a hell of a lot of work. And over the last month, we basically got the students to submit their photos, but I'm not sure if you've been keeping up with my little posts about the group, but my class is basically the United Nations. That's what I jokingly call it, because there are students from all over the globe, from Ethiopia to Greece to Indonesia to Vietnam, Korea, Canada, America, all over. And what that means is that when you put together a exhibition like this and it's in Korea, that means that a lot of that stuff has to be translated into Korean. And also, too, a lot of the languages and whatnot have to be done in a way that can be translated to the Korean printers and whatnot. And that provides a bit of a challenge when you're trying to sort of coordinate all these moving pieces. And so that's kind of what we had going on, just getting the photos up on the wall. Actually, getting the photos up on the wall was probably the simplest part of the whole process. Basically what happened here is that, to kind of dial it back into sort of how we ended up doing the gallery and whatnot, this was all part of the plan that we had way back when we started this class. And it was something that I think Dan Goche brought up in our initial meeting, that this would be a great way to sort of conclude the class. And I think that's kind of where things kicked off. Now, the head of the Ulsan Foreigner Support Center does have a background with organizing sort of art events and whatnot. So she actually got us the gallery. And that's one thing I really want to point out about this. This wasn't sort of a rinky-dink, gallery on the street corner or in some sort of weird bar. This was actually a gallery. This was held at the Ulsan Culture and Arts Center in an actual art gallery. So this is a really unique thing for the students to actually see their photos on the wall in a gallery, not hanging in a cafe somewhere. So that was, kind of a big deal for me too, because this is, again, this is the real deal, and you have space, you have blank walls to work on. And it was kind of a really neat thing to see. Now, that was the easy stuff. What we had to get done after that was essentially getting all the photos in, getting them on the walls, getting the descriptions in, getting those translated, getting the names right. And, as you can tell, with 23 students of all various nationalities, the wheel falls off the cart somewhere. And we did run into a lot of problems with the names and whatnot. And I was really working hard to kind of get everything straightened out right up until our main opening, which was on the Saturday of the 16th. And I mean, basically, I had all this stuff weighted in on my shoulders, and I was trying really hard not to snap at anybody. But if you know me, I rev kind of high at times, and, it was getting a little bit frustrated. There was times where people were wanting reprints who had not even seen their photos, just in pictures. And I'm, spend about 10, 15 minutes trying to explain that, the color of the light shining on the photo when you see it through someone's cell phone camera will make it look like shit, but it's actually a really good photo. Things like that, or even my own mistake with a typo on somebody's name, and then like the constant messages and the all of that kind of stuff. Like I was really trying to keep it all together right up until the end, and overall it went really well. The city, they supported us phenomenally, and this was something that I find very unique about Ulsan. Few places in the country, maybe even the world, will support a bunch of ragtag foreigners that like to take pictures. And this all came together with an immaculate, amazing, well done sort of opening. And I'm really happy to see everybody who came out and got to see their photo in this sort of light, because usually we see just the photos on our phones or on the screens. And especially for the students, you can see that they had that taste of seeing their photo in print. They saw what it looks like on a wall. And I think that they were really honored to have this experience. And it's something that seeing their reactions really made this all worth it. And again, like it was some long days. There was a lot of issues with just who's doing what. And I think the next time we do this, I'll have a better idea of how to run the show a little bit better, and hopefully I get a chance to. Now, getting back to what I said at the beginning about supporting your fellow photographers, I think that was the one main thing that I really sort of was disappointed with. I had spent a lot of time in that gallery, and there were some great kind of episodes I had with just, like random elderly people coming in off the street and being really impressed by the photography. Some of them wanted to practice their English, and that was amazing. But all in all, like they were really grateful for what we did and the photos that we took. On the flip side, a lot of the local photographers, I don't think I saw anyone that was not connected to the students or that kind of thing, like nothing from the photography groups. And, and this was a gallery that ran for basically almost a week, open from 10 till 7. Granted, those are challenging times, but, again, on Sunday, it was pretty much dead. Nobody came in, nothing. And that really sort of disappointed me because, as you're sitting there in an empty gallery, checking your phone and seeing people, like out having coffee or something, it really kind of chaps your ass a little bit. But again, it's one of these things where you take a mental note of what you should do for next time. And what I mean by that is it's fine to get bent out of shape about people sort of promoting themselves and then leaving you hanging out to dry when you're really trying to do something good, or at least you've accomplished something and you want to get the word out. But I think what it is if you want people to come, you've got to go. And I think that's kind of a good enough sounding idiom or something that I'll say it again. If you want people to come, you've got to go. And what I mean by that is if you want people to come to your thing, you've got to go to their thing. And I think for myself, I don't get out enough. I mean, there was Phil's photo walk in Daegu. And for, I was busy. I've got classes on the weekends and whatnot, but also there's, some friction in Daegu that I just don't want to get myself involved with. And again, but if I want, say, Phil to come to my exhibition, it's a give and a take. And I think people forget about that because in this society, it's all take. And especially with the photography community in general around the world, it's a lot of take. And by that, I mean, people want you to like their photo. People want you to share their photos. They want you to follow them and watch their videos and whatnot. But when you turn it around and say like, hey, I'm going to, share this job with you. But if you hear of a good job coming up that I'm suited for, help a brother out. And I guarantee you that won't happen. Or it would be like the scraps, like, oh yeah, like I've got a job in, this tiny little, village, God knows where outside of Seoul, and they want you to shoot like cow shit. They're not going to pay for transportation or anything, but like if you want to take it, go for it, man. Like, and that's sort of the crappy business that you get into. So bottom line is that if you want people to support you, you've got to support other people. And it goes in all directions on this one. I think that's sort of a good life motto too. Like kind of what I'm getting to a point right now is, I wouldn't say I got bitter, but it was like I felt that I sort of have to step back a little bit because I don't want to get super bitter at people. I just want to take photos and live my life. And I think that I'm not expecting people to help me out. And that's sort of the kind of the fine line on this give and take thing, is that 9 times out of 10, maybe some people will, but I've been through some rough times. And if you've listened to this podcast, you know what I'm talking about. And during those periods of unemployment, during those periods of low stuff, not a lot of help came my way. A bit, but in the flip side, whenever I hear of a good job or whenever I find something, I'm passing it out to people. And I think right now I just cut a taste of my own bitterness when I was realizing that a lot of these people are still just waiting for the good stuff and not really coming and supporting. So that was kind of the only downfall on my side with sort of the general support from the community outside of what came on Saturday. But with all that negativity, I'm going to put a pin in it and just say that I had a really good time organizing and putting this all together, and I couldn't have done it without the help of my wife and with the help of the Ulsan Foreigner Support Center, Dan Goche, the gallery wall, who did all the fantastic prints. And I'm going to put up the gallery wall information too, because the printer is an amazing guy. He did a great job with the prints, but if you're in the area, he's got an art space. He only speaks Korean, but he did a really good job, and I want to sort of help him get more business because I'm not sure if there's a lot of call for this sort of thing. But at any rate, it was an amazing time, and I'm super grateful that I was given the opportunity to actually plan and do this exhibition. Now, with that being said, and with Christmas coming rapidly up on our heels, if you need or if you want a large framed photo of the Ulsan area from sunrises in Suldo to sunsets over the city, I've got you covered. Drop me a message, and if you're in the city, we can make some arrangements. Even delivery is possible, and we can do that. And by what I mean by beautiful, like these are works of art, not just because they're my photos, but just how well they're printed. It's an amazing job and make a great gift for anyone who loves this city. And in the future, if you are combing through some of my photos on Flickr or whatever, and you would like a large framed photo, hit me up. Now, I've got a printer now, and I can shoot one off to you for a reasonable price. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to try and get a Christmas episode out. So if I don't, have yourself a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Thank you for supporting this podcast, and there'll be more episodes to come in the new year. Thank you very much.